Welcome back to the review space. This is going to be my review for Monday Night Raw last night, October 3rd, 2016. So, let's begin right away. Raw kicked off with Strowman Trains, coming out with his United States title strap. Gets booed more than he gets cheers from the crowd, of course, typical. And even Corey Graves and Michael Cole and Byron Saxton, the announcers, they were pointing out that he's basically getting John Cena reactions. Some people like him, some people, it's a mixed crowd, basically. But it's almost like they're just, at this point, they're just being honest. Like, they're a lot more open about it. They're not really, I don't know. I mean, they have to address it. Obviously, they got to point it out, but it's almost like, well, yeah, of course he's getting mixed reactions. It's almost like they've just accepted it. Like, it's not even, he's just the next John Cena, and they don't see that as a bad thing. It's like they don't have this glaring thing where they don't address the fact that this guy should be heel. This guy should be heel. Roman Reigns, Strowman Trains, should be a bad guy. Because then he's going to be totally, booed by the crowd. That's fine. But he doesn't have to be this Mr. Super Baby. He doesn't have to be like a John Cena again. That's why people boo him. Is that he's the next John Cena. It's so lame. Anyway, Lana came out looking good with her short skirts and heels. I mean, she looked damn sexy. Talking trash back and forth with Roman Reigns. The crowd started chanting, "Thank you, Lana." And that was awesome. Because, I mean, Lana's so over. The crowd loves her. And it's like, she's more over than Reigns, and that's just, she's beautiful. Rusev eventually came out to brawl with Reigns. Rusev kicking Reigns around, he's just beating the crap out of him. They're beating the crap out of each other, basically, and he kicked him over the barricade, is what I meant to say. And then Reigns sneaked up from behind, and he Superman punched Rusev. He got him the microphone, said he'll basically take on Rusev at a Hell in a Cell, which is going to be another match, I'm sure, for the United States Championship. This one is the rematch, and I expect Roman Reigns, Strowman Trains, to win that one. I call him Strowman Trains, because why not put a T in front of his stupid name? I don't know. It's just my thing. Strowman Trains. Anyway, Brian Kendrick taking on TJ Perks. Brian, raking the nose, gets the Captain Hook submission from behind, manages to make Perkins tap out. This was a non-championship match. There's no title change over here. It's always really stupid for WWE to basically make their champions lose the match, even if it's not for a title. So this is your typical BS booking. Yes, it does keep Brian Kendrick credible. It gives him a win, but at the expense of the title's prestige. Oh well, the Cruiserweight division is pretty much filler at this point, so I don't really care anymore about the Cruiserweights. We get a sit-down interview with Rollins and Cole. I pretty much tuned out because, honestly, Seth Rollins, his lisp is really annoying. I've always hated Rollins on the when he's cutting a promo. On the mic, he is a decent talker. He cuts a good promo technically, but that lispy, whiny, baby voice that he has is off-putting to me personally. Braun Strowman squashing a jobber named Chase Silver. When they first showed Chase Silver on screen, I thought for a second that it was Adam Cole from PWG and ROH, and then the camera panned down and they showed his torso and his lower body, and he looked like Chris Hero. So it's like, oh my god, it's just weird. It was weird seeing this Chase Silver guy because he looked oddly familiar, and he was like a mixture of different wrestlers from the indies. Anyway, Braun Strowman finished off Chase with a power slam, and then he cut a quick promo telling Mick Foley to get him some serious competition, and he sounded pretty good on the mic, so Braun Strowman cuts a decent promo. Sasha Banks and Bayley talking backstage. It was just a quick promo regarding her desire to become 2 times women's champion, and then, defeating Charlotte finally. It's funny, Sasha seemed a lot more over 7 or 8 months ago. She was more popular with the fans, even about a year ago, because the fans back there used to chant, "We want Sasha! We want Sasha," back in the day, when they didn't give her too much airtime. I think she was gone for just weeks and weeks. And now she's on pretty much every single week, and she seems a lot less over with the fans. They don't chant her name or anything like that. I mean, she still gets a reaction. I just think she's better playing a heel or some kind of anti-hero a selfish diva badass, some kind of like more villainous basically, not as a typical babyface where she's a good guy and she just comes across as your generic face. We get a pretty good promo between Jerry KO and the New Day. This was a lot of fun because everybody was put on the list, Jericho's list. Woods got in there twice after he made fun of Kevin's fat ass. Basically, they basically arranged a tag team title match. And Jericho hinted at potentially facing Kevin for the Universal Championship. He was like, well, at least I'm not challenging you for the Universal Championship. And then basically Owens thought twice about it, like, okay, let's do this tag team thing instead. And so the two will probably face each other for a championship match sometime in the future for the Universal title. Sami Zayn defeating Titus O'Neil in a relatively competitive match. Titus talked about he started his new Titus brand gimmick, but they've never really pushed Titus as a credible top guy, so it's probably not going to get anywhere. Gallows and Anderson defeating Golden Truth. They look dominant over Golden Truth. I don't really care much about Gallerson anymore. They're just a filler tag team at this point, but who knows? Maybe in another 4 months or so they'll be tag champs. You just never know with this company. It doesn't really matter. They were better off with AJ as a trio, the Bullet Club's, version WWE or whatever, but they just haven't been that interesting anymore. We get a quick backstage segment with the 70 Shows guys. The guy from 70, what's his face? Ashton Kutcher and Masterson, whatever his name is. I can't believe the 70 Show started like 18 years ago. I mean, like 98. It's nuts. I personally never watched it during the 90s, like, you know what I mean, when it first started, first couple of seasons. Didn't really get into it. But I did watch a few episodes back in the early 2000s. For some reason, I was just more actively watching television during high school. And Ashton Kutcher, he kind of became a big star in the early 2000s. And, he kind of rode that wave of the 70s show. And then he got his Punk series, the Punk TV show. He pulled pranks on people. He had a few movies here and there. I think there was like Dude, Where's My Car from back in the day. And then the other guy who played Hyde in the 70s show, the guy with the curly hair, Masterson, I don't know what he's done since then, but I don't really give a shit about like these celebrities or anything like that. I don't keep up with celebrity news, but these two were familiar faces that I remember from my younger years back in the day, so I know something about them a little bit. Jericho was funny as usual in this segment, and there's pretty good chemistry between these guys. We see Enzo and Big Kaz in the ring with the Susan G. Komen individuals. They gave these 3 women in the ring the Women's Championship replica belts. I still remember CM Punk talking about the Komen being a scam and all that, so I don't really have enough information regarding that. So I don't really want to talk. I don't even really want to see it on screen. I don't know what to think about it. Like, in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking, like, okay, this might be a scam. You got people like Punk speaking out, and it's like, well, holy shit, you know what I mean? How can people support this? Well, anyway, it is what it is. New Day defeating Jerry KO with a little help distraction from Seth Rollins. The 70 Show guys on commentary, they were alright. They bantered back and forth with Corey Graves, who was totally, like, being the heelish personality here. It was a cool match, though. It seemed more likely that we'll see the Owens Jericho thing because they're breaking down. This supposed best friend bullcrap. They're going to have a match somewhere in the future. I'm sure Kevin Owens is going to defeat Chris Jericho, and Jericho's going to fuck off and do his own thing again for the next 6 months, and temporarily leave the WWE. We get a quick backstage segment between Seth Rollins and Stephanie. He was basically verbally owning Stephanie, which is a huge rarity in WWE. We don't see that too much, where Stephanie gets she gets owned on the microphone. Seth Rollins basically said Triple H's biggest mistake was marrying Stephanie, and for some reason Stephanie was grinning at the end of it. And like when fucking Seth Rollins walked off, Stephanie was kind of smiling a little bit. So maybe there's a hidden agenda there. Maybe she's got her own thing going. She's like, okay, I'm getting under Seth Rollins' skin. Like, oh yeah, he's firing up, and that's what Stephanie wants. Perhaps that's what's going on here. Tony Nese defeated Rich Swann. There was a lot of high-risk moves here. unique spots between the two. It was just pure athleticism. The crowd seemed to like portions of the match, especially the high spots, but they were mostly still kind of dead and just kind of sitting on their hands for most of it when there's nothing going on. There's no emotional attachment to any of the characters for the most part, especially the casuals, because there's no storytelling yet and they haven't really been around long enough. We get a Baywatch commercial, a promo package for Emma's makeover into Emmalina. So Emma, that Emma, she's gonna become Emmalina, a new name. Easily the sexiest segment of the entire show, and Emma's not even in the show. She's not even officially back yet. They just showed photos of her and like pictures of her in bikinis and sexy looking outfits, and she looked really hot. Hopefully this new version of Emma gives her time to shine, and she never really took off on the main roster when she came in a couple of years ago from NXT. Cesaro and Sheamus squashed a couple of jobbers. This was a great move. There was a great move here by Cesaro. He hopped on Sheamus's back, turned it into a DDT across the ring. It was really, really impressive. They get the opposite reactions. Sheamus gets booed, and then frickin' Cesaro gets cheered. I like it. It's great. I think it's cool. We get a great promo package for Sasha Banks and Charlotte, and the rivalry since the NXT days. I didn't know that they were going to go to main event here with a woman, and it turns out they were closing the show, and that was cool. This was easily the best match of the night. Awesome match. Probably be talked about for years to come. I don't really remember too many women's matches main eventing Raw aside from Trish Stratus and Lita during the early mid-2000s, so this was a special moment. Charlotte, she did a crazy somersault moonsault to the outside from the top rope. That was nuts. It was mind-blowing. It looked so risky. Sasha did a La Mystica type of tilt-a-whirl thing into a Banks statement submission. That was awesome. And Sasha managed to make Charlotte tap out. She is the new Raw Women's Champion 2-time. If I'm not mistaken, she won it. This is the second time she won the women's title on an episode of Raw, which is like, Raw's been really kind to her in this year. So, good for Sasha Banks. What a way to close out the show. A pretty decent episode of Raw overall. I liked it. And can't wait until next week. And for SmackDown, later to, I guess it would be tonight. Yes, it's frickin' Tuesday. Anyway, I like Raw. Wrestling this year has been pretty watchable. Like, especially after the draft, I really enjoyed it. I've said it before. It has improved. It's just they're getting killed in the ratings. The ratings have gone down, which is fucking sad. I hope it goes back up because I've been enjoying them. I haven't enjoyed WWE Raw programming in the past 10 years. Not this much. I haven't really gotten too much into it. I would watch it on and off, but it's I really like it. I like the matches. I like the characters. I like Sasha, the woman, and all that, Charlotte, and all these really talented people. It's just a matter of having those amazing, gripping storylines. They gotta have great storytelling. And unfortunately, because we have this fucking PG limits, they can't have edgy shit, they can't swear, they can't have more risque, more adult-oriented type things, and it's got to be marketed to a younger demographic, and unfortunately, I think that's what affects them. That's what fucked them up during the early mid-90s with the new generation, it was the new generation back in the day. Those were the lower ratings that WWE was getting, WWF was getting. Anyway, enough fucking rambling. Thanks for watching this episode of The Review Space. Subscribe to the channel, all that good shit, and until next time, peace.